Always wait for the jump scare. Welcome back to the Drive-In Asylum double feature with me, Bill Van Ryn, and Gigi Graham.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on the flip side. How did you feel about A Cold Night's Death? It looks like you guys dug it pretty well.
Yeah, I think we have a winner here tonight. I think it's really scary, personally. I'm glad you recommended it.
Rating on the curve of what it is fairly. And I imagine if you were a child that stayed up slightly past your bedtime on that particular Tuesday in 1973, it probably kinder traumatized a whole bunch of people.
73 was a big year for that. That was the year of Trilogy of Terror. And also Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. That was also 1973. This is one that you don't really hear people talk about a lot, but boy, it sure would have freaked me out. I wish I would have seen it when I was a kid.
How many people figured out the twist beforehand? How many of you are little latchkey Serling kids like I was?
Yeah, I have to admit that took me by surprise the first time that I saw it, and I wasn't even really sure if that was what had happened. But this was this was a definitive viewing. I really like it.
Also, David, my grandmother who introduced me to this movie would agree with you that there should have been a movie, Robert Culp walking around in his long johns. She would have been all in on that.
I have to admit, he is kind of dreamy.
Not your usual style. I figured you might be a little disappointed because we did not have any Aldo Ray lookalikes in this film.
Unfortunately, no. I mean, Aldo Ray could have easily played opposite Culp in this film, but instead it was Eli Wallach, a fantastic actor anyway.
Yeah, he is a wonderful actor. And I have to say, I kept waiting for them to just make out. Like they bicker like a married couple. They have a long-term relationship because they needed to shovel snow into the heater to make water, like to have water for showers and fresh water and whatever else they might have needed.
Yeah, you missed the introduction then, Mike, because it was, you know how economical a script is. There's nothing in there unless you have to know it, unless you're Andy Milligan.
True, unless you're Andy Milligan, in which it's in there because he thought it was interesting that day, maybe.
You really don't have to know what's going on in an Andy Milligan film. I just really was into the sense of isolation in this film. It works so well. Although
that's probably the best thing it's got going for it is it legitimately feels cold. It legitimately feels remote.
Yeah. It's really, it does remind me so much of The Thing. I just want to keep talking about The Thing, which isn't fair because it's a completely different kind of movie.
I really do wonder if he saw this at some point. Because it's like, obviously they're the collective unconscious. There are no original ideas. But, it seems like something he would have seen at some point and, filed away in the back of his head somewhere.
I also loved, other than the fact that I didn't mind seeing Robert Culp undressed, I liked how they got that in there about how vulnerable they were because of how cold it was. And to show him walking around in his underwear like that was actually a brilliant move because they're like, oh, it's so cold there. And he's up there. Even at one point, he finds the window open and he leans out. And I thought, he's in his underwear. That had to have been really cold.
Yeah, like how pleasant could that have been? Did they drug the monkeys? I don't know what they would have. Like, I'm assuming they're trained actor monkeys. So they didn't much mind. I mean, it's possible it was the 70s. Unfortunately, workplace standards for animal actors may not have been great, even on like a fairly, reputable company production.
Yeah. Yeah, Nora, I'm sure you're right. They probably had the trainers right there on the set handling all those. I'm sure they did. But yeah, they were very well. They were a really great part of the story, but especially the evil chimpanzee at the end.
The leader, the absolute leader. This is like whenever filmmakers, a lot of people tend to blame less than successful films on lack of resources, but you don't necessarily need a lot to make an effective slow burn movie. This
Sure.
is 2 actors, a soundstage, and a couple of monkeys. And yeah, okay, it's not maybe as terrifying as something that's more explicit, but it's not what you have, it's what you imply with what you have. And I think this does that really well.
Yeah, before you know it's the monkeys doing it, it does have an effective other side to it where you think, oh, is there something supernatural going on here, or is there somebody stalking them? Is someone else in the
Yeah, like,
facility
is
with
this
them?
a cosmic horror? Like, being that they're out in the middle of nowhere, could there be some sort of eldritch monster? Is there some sort of supernatural thing going on? Are they, let's go for the classic trope of all tropes. Is it like near a burial ground somewhere?
Yeah, like what's going to happen? The answer was right there in front of us the whole time.
I just find it funny that it says something about human nature in a very Rod Serling kind of way, that they immediately suspect each other before they suspect monkeys. Like, those monkeys have been
Yeah,
sitting in tiny cages all day. They're bored.
yeah. There was a time when a friend of mine had a parrot, and I started reading about parrots and how intelligent they are, and if you keep them in a cage and don't let them out, they can go crazy, and that there's actually places where you can take like an asylum for crazy parrots. There, there are places
I
where you
wonder
can.
what the parrot mental institution, like, does one of them think he's Winston Churchill, but his name is actually like Peanuts? Like, how does that work?
They need special care at that point because eventually they just snap, and they'll just do things like bob their heads in front of the mirror the whole day, and they're not listening to anything on their earbuds.
Yeah, they don't have anything. I don't know why the names were so obscure on the monkeys. Like, if you were going to make the point that the monkeys were the conquerors, you could have left the names as is, and it wouldn't have made much difference, being that you only see the labeling on the cages twice.
Yeah, there was that wonderful moment where Eli Wallach, or not Eli Wallach, Robert Culp figures it out because of the names. Alexander the Great.
Alexander. And it's like, I don't know. That's not the most natural A to B. Like, if this was password, you wouldn't have gotten it on the first 2 guesses.
Again, the answer was right there in front of our faces.
The entire time.
This is a lot different than the other movies that I mentioned, TV movies that were big that year, Trilogy of Terror and Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, because they had actual monsters in them that you could see. There was no.
There was a clear source of danger.
It was fun, to kids were into it. Oh, there's a monster. But in this movie, you really don't get that. It's there are monsters, but you don't know what they are till the end.
Now, I wonder how common it was, like, for something like this with the TV movies, for some little kid to stay up late. Because I've noticed a lot of people tend to point to them as like early gateways to liking horror or like early traumas.
Yeah, that was the thrill of it. Sometimes I know a lot of stuff that I watched. It was because I stayed up late. I would sneak downstairs after everyone, because at that time parents actually made their kids go to bed at a certain time. I don't think they do that anymore, but and that made it fun too. You were doing something that you shouldn't have been doing.
Transgression.
Yeah, and watching scary movies. But this was a primetime film. It wasn't on late at all. It was only 9 o'clock.
Yeah, these would have aired like what, around 8 o'clock maybe?
Yeah, 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
I think, is when this was on. And the other ones too, Trilogy and Don't Be Afraid of the
Yeah,
Dark,
like
etc.
the movie of the week slot was like
Sure.
8, 9 p.m., right?
So anybody could stumble into that. Any little kid. Left unsupervised in the TV room for half a second.
If the worst thing your kid gets into is like a CBS Tuesday night movie, I'm guessing you're probably doing okay, but they probably didn't see it that way back then.
Yeah, everything. Oh, if they watch movies like that, who knows what'll happen to them when they grow up. Here we are. Maybe they were right. Um, I'm glad you all liked the film, or at least most of you seem to have liked it. Click like on the video and share the video if you really, really like us to help get the
Yeah,
viewership
since
up.
everyone seems to be in a generous mood tonight and everybody seems to have enjoyed themselves, click like, click share. Give us all the follows. Tell your friends.
Write about us in the newspaper. In terms of other films that this reminds me of, I was also thinking, well, the obvious delineation was The Thing, but there was also, well, the original The Thing. There was another 50s sci-fi film set at the ice pool. And wasn't Trollenberg Terror on top of a mountain, the crawling eye? I forget if it was snowy in that film.
I think you're right, it was. Also, Nora, I think you liked some of my other picks. You tried to blame me for Damnation Alley, and you didn't hate the Black Room. As I recall.
Nora, you're so reckless with that laser-focused hate. I love the Black Room, and I can't say enough about it. But Damnation Alley, yeah, that one really.
Yeah,
That
I think
hurt.
everybody's mad at Uncle Spooky for that one. I think we all owe Uncle Spooky, perhaps, a
Now
few.
that's not the only thing he's ever picked for the show. So he's picked
Yes,
stuff
but
that I.
that's the one that everybody seemed to have gotten upset with him for.
I don't know. There was that one part in Damnation Alley with the cockroaches that I thought was pretty good. I thought that was a
It's
pretty.
just everything that surrounds it.
Yeah, the whole thing
Yeah,
is ridiculous. This was a little ridiculous too. We were talking during the movie. Why did they have to take these experiments into these extreme conditions? That's a good
I
question.
mean, they basically were just running monkeys around on treadmills and like messing with their food supplies. You could have done that someplace where it wasn't -18.
I don't get it. I mean, the monkeys don't know that they're isolated there, at least theoretically. Now we know they do, but
Now we know they're vengeful.
they didn't already. They didn't start out knowing that. So I don't know what the big deal was, why they had to be isolated. If anyone in chat has any ideas, please let us know.
Yes, are any of you willing to fill in that script gap? That would be wonderful.
Not that I'm complaining. I mean, I love a good isolated location.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was just to keep them away from civilization.
And to allow their Brokeback Mountain style relationship to thrive.
Yes. Again, I kept waiting for them. Like, just kiss. It's fine. Just make out.
They should have. Maybe they would have trusted each other a little bit more.
A little bit more, right?
I thought it was a little selfish of Culp to not. He didn't want to cook and he didn't want to clean. And what did he have to do? Oh, go shovel the snow. Big deal.
One task per day. He took exactly one task and then acted very perturbed whenever his poor pool shooting, because he was not a good pool player, was interrupted.
Oh, and there was that symbolic moment where Eli Wallach grabbed one of his balls off the table.
Yeah, because that no metaphors, no subtext. Not at all. No subtext there. Nope, nope, nope.
Oh yeah, there was the one scene too where he grabbed his blankets and he ran out of the room. He's like, "I'm not sleeping with you tonight."
Yeah. Like if you get mad at someone and somebody ends up on the couch, I don't know. That's not like a friendly thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, like, who cares if you're going to go sleep in the other room? So there was something going on there.
Or maybe it's just because this is my rare choice without any sluttiness in it, so I have to read some in somewhere. That's very possible.
Sam Panico is on his way to the program because I got a text from him. So we're just patiently waiting his arrival. I don't know. I guess we'll have to hear about whether he got clobbered tonight. I guess he didn't because he's on his way home.
Or he did, and he's just driving with like a dislocated thumb, which sounds like him.
He can get clobbered and do the show. That's what I love about Sam. Our first robo person of the evening.
Oh, look at that. It took a little while, but we got one.
I don't know what that is. What's their goal?
I'm assuming spam of some sort.
Why are they doing this? VYNFYI. Is this some kind of...
VYN for your information. I don't know.
Yes, Sam does have a persona. He's Shirley Doe. And he's been doing it for a couple of decades now, so he's been around a long time. Don't tell him I told you that, though. The part about being around a long time, at least that is.
Yeah. We don't know anything.
Any experiments good? Were they in Antarctica?
I'm pretty sure it was somewhere remote. Antarctica is possible. Alaska is too. Either way, the end result in terms of storyline, plotline function is the same.
Yeah, that was a little unclear. I guess maybe we've talked out the first feature.
Yeah, because unfortunately, this is not one of those ones that has a hugely complex plot. We can do a little bit of an introduction for feature number 2, as long as we don't get into too much of a spoiler territory, because I know Sam was looking forward to seeing this one again. Pamela C., you're a student of Rod Serling scripts. You've got it.
There was no fooling her tonight.
Nope. She's got her cozy blanket and she's on the ball.
If the blanket wasn't there to keep you warm, Pamela, the monkeys might have pulled the wool over your eyes. Let's see. Oh, it looks like people are talking about getting their Don't Go in the House Blu-rays in the mail because coincidentally, that's not why we chose this film, but this is the week where the brand new Blu-ray restoration for Don't Go in the House from Severn Films.
How many of you ordered the new Blu-ray? How many of you have it already?
Yeah, I'd like to know. Because I don't know, I didn't pull the trigger on that one, and I feel kind of stupid about it now. It'll still be there, though, right? It's not sold out yet. I hope not.
Yeah. I feel like you have to be a certain kind of person to be excited about Don't Go in the House, because it's a very grim movie. Very yellow nose, maybe. Spambot, who knows?
Maybe they were trying to tell me something. My light is a little bright. So yeah, I thought that was pretty exciting about that Blu-ray coming out. So I think I am going to go back and get that. I haven't even watched. Last week I got in the mail. I actually ordered Toxic Zombies.
Did you?
Have you seen that?
I finally got my Christmas pre-order. So hey, all right.
What was it?
The Monster of Camp Sunshine. Monster of Camp Sunshine.
What is that movie?
It's basically a monster attacks the vacationers at a nudist camp. It is silent film title cards and partially composed of stock footage, in addition to all of like the nudie, cutie, goofy monster frolics. It is a shaggy mess, and I cannot be more pleased to see it in something that isn't potato quality.
I think.
Oop, we just lost Bill.
Weird. Can you hear me now?
There we go.
I don't know what that was all about. I think I ran an ad for that on Groovy Doom when I did the Pittsburgh series, because I found a lot of awesome nudie cutie stuff that was shown in Pittsburgh.
Very cool. So apparently Pittsburgh was a fan of the nudie cutie.
Yeah, Toxic Zombies, I don't know. It's painful. It's a painful watch, but I kind of like it. Maybe I like punishment.
Masochists, all of you.
John Amplis won't talk about it, apparently. He doesn't like that he was in it.
Is that one of those things he quietly deletes off his CV?
I guess. I don't own any monkeys. So if you see one appear on camera and attack me, please send help. Okay, so Don't Go in the House. This was a really controversial film when it came out. A lot of at the time, slasher movies were on the rise, and a lot of people were being outraged by it. Siskel and Ebert were two very vocal ones. But Don't Go in the House took a lot of flack because there is some really brutal violence towards women in this film.
And I believe this was on the Video Nasties list.
Yes.
Yeah, this ended up on the Video Nasties list. Siskel and Ebert being anti-horror movie was kind of well established at that point, though. It wouldn't have mattered, even if this didn't have some incredibly, graphic scenes in it. I don't think it would have mattered either way, because they seem to have a pretty strong distaste toward anything like on the more slasher end of the spectrum.
Yeah, they actually did like horror films. They gave good reviews. Gene gave a good review to The Howling, which I'm sure you that makes you disagree with him even more.
I mean, again, it's one of those movies that I know it's a personal thing, because every time I watch it, I want to like it, and then I kind of don't. So I know that one is more me than the movie itself. Ebert gave a good review to Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, which, if you kind of are familiar with his taste, is surprising.
That shocked me too, because I saw Henry cold. I knew nothing about it. And a friend of mine took me to it. She was like, hey, there's this movie showing at the film festival, and it's supposed to be like a really interesting true crime film. And I went to it, and
that's the understatement of the year.
It was great though. I mean, like,
it's like when I got bunked, I got basically suckered in blind on In a Glass Cage.
Oh wow.
That's not for the faint.
How'd you take that?
It's both brutal and it's beautiful at the same time. Like, it's an excessively well-made film devoted to a whole slate of hideous things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say I want to watch it every week, but I respect what it's able to do. I understand what it's trying to do, and it doesn't have that oily, like, edgelordy snicker.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I see movies like that. I don't know if you feel the same way about anything, but there are movies that I've seen like Henry, and I saw that once. That was enough for me, but I enjoyed it. Then there are other movies that I would never watch again, like Chaos. I don't know if you've ever seen Chaos.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
Oh my God. Well, it was a remake of Last House on the Left up until like the 11th hour. And the title ended up being changed, and Sage Stallone got the deal together. He's in the film, or somebody associated with Sage Stallone, either him or someone, certainly not his father, but it was a Last House remake, and it was directed by a guy Dave DeFalco, who is a wrestler / film director. And I don't know, it was the worst parts of Last House on the Left amplified to a ridiculous degree.
Because that's what everyone needed.
It was literally a movie that seemed like it existed only to show a very realistic scene where a young woman is raped and murdered, not necessarily in that order, and mutilated on camera. So I don't know. It worked. It disturbed me, but I didn't like it after it was over. Like, the whole movie just felt really cheap because I felt like that was the only reason they made it.
Yeah, purely for I agree with Chris. A Serbian film I don't regret watching once, but I do not want to watch that movie again.
Yeah, that's another one.
I absolutely agree there. There are very few movies that are like a hard line for me. Usually it's the things that kind of combine like a very extreme misogyny, gore, and hardcore in a very like a climax of blue power.
I
is,
remember you saying you didn't like that.
yeah, I'm like not, that's right in an area where I kind of don't need to be in terms of limits on my psyche.
Is that Joe Sarno?
No, I don't think it is. It's not, I don't think it's Damiano either.
No, it's not
It's
Damiano.
someone, it's not Lee Frost, is it? Might be
Oh,
Lee Frost.
yes, it's Lee Frost. Sorry.
Although I will say the Defilers is probably the best roughie out of all the ones I've seen, and that's also Lee Frost.
How'd you feel about Martyrs? Vince
Martyrs,
Russell.
I liked it. I saw
Yeah.
where it was going fairly early on, but I didn't dislike it. I feel like it kind of like it feels the worthy kind of like last gasp of that kind of new French extremity type of a feel.
Yeah. The weird thing about that movie is the only part that I really disliked was how long that whole sequence was in the middle where they end up brutalizing her. And I think it goes on for like 10 minutes. So it's just scene after scene of her being brutalized in her cell. And then if that part was a little bit shorter, I would have liked the movie a lot better. But the ending just really came out of nowhere and changed the tone of the film for me. It was just so goofy.
I don't know, maybe I'm just a weirdo, but like I saw where it was going like probably less than halfway through and
Yeah.
was like
Oh,
this is
wow.
probably how this is going to end. And I enjoyed watching it get there because normally when I can see, an ending of a movie coming, I get bored waiting for the characters to catch up.
Yeah.
But because it was so extreme and it was kind of unafraid to go there but not leering at its own violence, like I said, I didn't regret watching it. Again, it's not something you'd watch every day, but it definitely, like I said, the last final solid movie of that kind of new French extremity style and mood. And honestly, looking back, like what is Switchblade Romance, which I loved when it came out. Rewatching that movie, the twist doesn't make any sense. Like a lot of the new French extremity kind of films, I went back and watched them and didn't like them necessarily as much. But Martyrs, I don't feel that way.
Well, it looks like Sam Panico is ready to join our broadcast.
Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Hey, Becca.
Hello.
Sorry to be
Welcome.
late.
How'd the show go?
It
How's your show?
Really fun. It was a spoken word with Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden, so it was pretty cool. He talked about being a pilot and a fencer and all the other crazy stuff.
You weren't wrestling tonight.
No, I was at Bruce Dickinson show. I'm retired from wrestling.
Well, we were looking forward to it.
Wrestling for my sanity
No,
and other
I'm
people.
not. I haven't even taken my jacket off. I still have my vest on. So.
We were hoping to hear stories about how you got clobbered and still
No.
managed to do the show, but
No, sorry, not tonight. Still missing a tooth from hockey, though.
So Sam,
Yes.
we're talking about Don't Go in the House,
Oh, awesome.
and
Did you guys watch that already, or did you watch that?
No, we waited for you.
Oh, okay, good. I told somebody tonight that they should watch the show, and I said that this is a really repellent movie, and if you're really upset easily, you should really watch our show tonight. Cubby is in the basement. He will be up shortly. Cubby has a new nickname, by the way. He's the New York Ripper, because he sounds like a duck when he barks when he's really upset. He was really upset about having to go downstairs, and he was like barking and making this noise, and he really sounded like he was calling somebody to kill him. Here he comes.
oh, there you go.
Hi, Cubby.
Don't worry about me, everyone. I'm here. I'm here.
Cubby, your fans demand you.
So get in line, Bill.
Yeah.
How's he feeling?
He's
Better?
full of spunk as ever. So, and he's
Does not-
healing up good.
Does not like the snow.
No.
Neither do I.
No.
That's a mood, Cubby.
He walked out yesterday. He stood in it and literally jumped straight up in the air and ran back into the house. So,
It's unanimous then.
yeah. Not a fan. Anyways, yeah. Sorry to be late, guys. Hello, everybody. That's not a Kiss Army patch, by the way. It's a Melvin's Army patch. Not that I don't like Kiss, but I like the Melvins maybe a little bit more. And yeah, there's way too many patches on this. So there you go.
So I forget why we picked Don't Go in the House.
I'm assuming you picked this one, Sam?
No, I didn't, believe it or not, because it's awesome. So I'm excited. It seems like one I'd pick, though, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
does.
It does. Lots of women screaming.
Yeah, exactly. That's usually my pick, yeah.
Yeah.
We're starting to catch on to some issues, Sam.
No. But I don't know how we ended up picking it. It just seemed like the right pick, though. And it's, I mean, it does fit right into my world. I've only seen it once, though. So, you know, I think because we had the cold one, we're like, well, what if we had a hot one? And I think it just kind of, you know, it was like the heat miser and the cold miser of death. And it just kind of worked out that way.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Especially because it's really cold. So maybe that's why. I did my walk today for 45 minutes out in this cold. And, oh, boy, it's not fun. Maybe I could be a grown-up and not just wear a sweatshirt someday and gloves. But, no, not at this point. So I toughed it out. But I'm excited about it because there's nothing redeeming about this next. Like you know, whenever they told you about horror movies when you're in school and like how bad they were for kids and like that stuff. Like this is probably the movie. This and Pieces were probably the two movies they had in mind. And Pieces at least has some comedy to it. There's not really any moments in this to kind of laugh about stuff.
Yeah, it's a very nasty edge to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I'd like to say about this movie, but I don't know how many people in here have never seen it. So I'll probably save a lot of my analysis for the third segment, just so I don't spoil it for anyone.
We've already spoiled the fact that it has something to do with fire, but that's as far as we went.
I mean, that's in the first 5 minutes of the film. I think calling a major plot point that they reveal early a spoiler is a bit much.
Yeah. I'm I'm excited to see what everybody thinks.
Me too. I'm excited to see who's offended by it. I hope at least a couple people are offended by it.
That's my favorite part of movies, really. I'm not gonna lie.
Pete, it's not exactly a slasher, but Blue Sunshine also has that same touch as far as where someone dies.
Yeah. Oh, I love that scene.
And I guess Prom Night maybe has a little bit of disco. There's the disco prom song.
It absolutely does.
Disco deaths, specifically. Yeah. Can we think of anything else?
There's that movie, the Discocist, however you say it. There were a couple, but those are like kind of knowing they weren't made in this era.
Yeah, because I mean, the fifth floor.
Can we count Cruising as well?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Well, the fifth floor too, but nobody dies in the disco.
Yeah, she's just a disco dancer.
I love the fifth floor though. The poster. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a slasher, and I guess it's not. I don't know what it is. I don't even think it knows what it is.
It sort of is.
Yeah.
It's got that grimy quality.
I would like to know if there's any more of the t-shirts I'm wearing.
Yes, I am planning a reprint of that shirt. We've had a couple of requests so far. So if you're interested, contact me on the Groovy Doom page. And just let me know you're interested in possibly your shirt size. And I'll probably place an order for it maybe like sometime in February.
You won't be able to match your eye color as perfectly as Gigi did.
I appreciate every single one of you who's noticed that tonight because it was an effort, God damn it.
It's quite stunning. And there's glitter involved.
I've left the house, I think, and when was the last time I've gone anywhere?
I don't know, but tell Gigi I have a whole closet full of eyeshadow.
Yeah, Becca does have a whole closet full of, and you know what? When I got in the car tonight, I noticed my wife's makeup because she looked really great, and I was like, wow, who is picking me up at the concert?
If Gigi comes to Pittsburgh, she can borrow all my eyeshadow. I have a whole closet.
Oh my God, girl, we're going to paint so hard. We're going to be the fanciest bitches in Pittsburgh.
Exactly.
That's what I get her every year. Every year, whatever. I'm like, well, what do you want? She's like, well, there is this palette.
That's relatable content. Well, there is this palette.
Yeah, that's how I got my Sephora silver card. She wanted what did you want? Urban Decay hologram palette. There. So.
Hush, see what you made me do. Make up. I'm channeling Vanity 6 right now.
Exactly. If I did wrestle tonight, I'd still probably have makeup on, but I didn't. That's how you can tell. If my eyes look even darker around the
You've still got the grease paint.
Yeah, exactly.
You've done the show in your makeup before, haven't you?
I've never done full makeup, but yeah, I should sometime.
The remnants.
Yeah. That's my favorite is like whenever I was always upset older wrestlers when I'd go out to the bar afterwards and keep my makeup on. They just get really upset. I was like, well, you know.
I love your nails, darling.
Yes, we love your nails, Beth.
Maybe you can do my nails sometime.
Although I'm getting a little old for that horror look.
Don't go in the house. Are you going to do your drink first, or should I do the ad gallery?
Why don't you do the ad gallery and then I'll do my drink?
Okay.
I have everything prepared though.
Oh well. Do you want me to?
No, I think the ad gallery feels right first.
Okay.
My OCD demands that the ad gallery go first.
All right. So don't go in the house. Yeah. Actually, in correct English, it would be don't go into the house.
Oh yeah.
But never mind. It opened in April 1980, and Honolulu was the earliest place I could find it. IMDb says it opened in late March, but I want them to prove it because I couldn't find it anywhere. This wonderful ad campaign for it. Here it is from Hilo, Hawaii. I just love it. Anything with a big scary house in it has got to be good, right? I don't think anybody, in all fairness, they tell you in the ad, you have been warned that this is going to be a really gruesome, brutal film, right? I don't know. That house kind of looks like the Red Wolf Inn. Look at this lineup from April 25th, 1980 in Fresno. The contemporaries that it was playing with, Phantasm, Kramer versus Kramer, a horrifying film, and Being There, equally horrifying, about a complete sociopath. Friday the 13th, and I guess it goes without saying there was some inspiration there. Here it is with Beyond the Door Part 2 for Scare Festival.
Whoa.
In Red Bank, New Jersey at the end of May. That's pretty exciting. But Beyond the Door 2 was something it played with often, actually. Here it is with Slaughter Hotel, Holy Klaus Kinski. You've been warned about him. I just love graphics like this. Look at this one with the stars around it. Get some Kung Fu on the other screen at the North Side Twin. And here it played with The Dark. That's another.
It's a double feature that I can 100% get down with.
This was a Film Ventures International. Or Film Ventures International, right?
Yeah.
June 1980 from Louisville.
Perhaps you got Roger Braden saw it.
I bet he did. I know there's a story there. Look at all these too. Here it was showing with Grizzly in Fort Lauderdale in June. Look at that.
Screen 3 and 4. Look at that.
Oh my God. Humanoids for the Deep and Jaws of Death. Get me there.
And Rudy Ray Moore, Human Tornado.
Oh my God.
How would you choose what screen to go to?
Oh, the Thunderbird.
You'd have to go every night during that whole week. Here's the Spotlight 88, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Prom night.
Literally 3 minutes from my parents' house.
And the Toolbox Murders.
Oh, God. Spotlight 88.
Chicago is playing with Kung Fu movie Devil Woman. Well, Asian horror film / Kung Fu.
Yeah. And Flight of the Conchords song.
Absolutely stunning. Here's Beyond the Door 2 again. I think this was Georgia, the Slappy Drive-In. That sounds kind of dirty.
Yeah, it really does. Sounds like an S&M club.
Yeah. Welcome to the Slappy.
Speaking of the fifth floor.
Double feature there.
The Dangers of Disco double feature.
Oh, my God. No dance to Last Dance.
Literally. The Last Dance of Your Life. I don't know. When I was a kid, this was the stuff I was scouring the newspaper to find.
And that is a dream double feature. One
Even
week
just
people sent me that Kramer versus Kramer with Dr. Butcher MD double feature this week. Like, have you seen it?
yes,
Yeah, I dream of it. Yeah.
someone posted that on Insta, I believe.
Yeah. And you know what? I love whenever those kind of things would play together. Like, why not, right? I'm a fan of kung fu movies playing with slashers too. I think let's bring those audiences together.
I mean, there was probably a decent amount of overlap.
I think so, yeah.
Because I mean, there's 7 Deadly Vampires. Like, why would Hammer, team up with primarily a martial arts production studio if there wasn't some value in it for both of them?
Oh, and you know what? I love that movie just because it's so ridiculous. Like,
It's good, silly fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Cushing is just genius.
I'm a big fan of late model Hammer, where they're just like, you know what? I know we've been really kind of classy, but fuck it. Like, let's just do whatever.
And then like there's the very, very like Fear in the Night, where they're like, we're just gonna go back to what we were doing before all that lurid Technicolor stuff even happened, and this is how you're gonna remember us because we're on our way out and fuck it.
My dream is that there had been more than that. Some of the movies that they wanted to, become multi-part epics had succeeded. Like what's the one with the swashbuckling guy? My brain's shot from, the one Vampire Hunter one that they did in the 70s.
Captain Chronos?
Captain Chronos, yeah. If there had been more than one Captain Chronos, I would have loved it. But it's still a good movie for what it is. I mean, it's got Carol Monroe in it. It's not a bad movie no matter what. You can just pretty much just have her sitting around drinking pop for 2 hours and I'll watch it. So, or soda if you're from another state. Speaking of drinks.
Yeah, how about that?
Now, this drink's called Burned Alive. It's what it's going to do to my stomach. This one starts with an ounce of vanilla vodka or rum. We're going to use rum. Say goodbye to this is Admiral Nelson's last voyage. Look at it.
I'm glad that happened before there was any liquid in my cocktail shaker.
Coolest shaker.
Who are they?
They're
that
worst.
They're that Deep Purple cover band.
Yeah, coolest shaker. And we're going to do an ounce of... Are you making this drink, Will?
Yes, I am.
All right, we're going to do an ounce of Fireball. I got an airplane bottle.
Oh, I wish I would have found one that small. I'm never going to use this much Fireball.
Oh, you will. I'll make you use it. Yeah, bring it to the drive-in. We'll all act like we're in high school and we'll do shots of it.
It's a deal. It's a date.
It's a date. We're going to do some apple juice of 5 ounces.
I cheated. I pre-mixed the apple and the lemon juice.
Oh, see, I love it. We do a splash or a dash of lemon and then a little splash of vanilla, just because we're fancy. And then let's shake it up. All right, it's solid. All right.
This vanilla extract is like Fort Knox. Okay.
And this is the point where I cheat it and I make something much simpler because I don't have the skills like that. But what I do is a full bottle of Bombay Sapphire, so good to go.
Do I expect you to drink your vanilla extract, Mr. Bond? No, I expect you to die. There's my Fort Knox impression. All right, then finally, you can do a little dusting of cinnamon if you're super fancy.
There was nothing after the vanilla extract, was there?
Nope. This is called Burned Alive. Would you like to try? Becca's going to taste
I even got some cinnamon.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
I'm going to put these away.
I was all in on this drink.
I knew you would like it. I kind of made this one for you.
Well, then I'm doubly glad I made the drink.
Dustin, speak for yourself. Gin keeps me from being the devil.
I have just started to like gin this year. I never liked it before. It always felt like something my dad drank, which is not a bad thing. And then
What
I
are you
got
doing?
really into it this year.
We're ready for cheers.
Cheers. Gigi, good to see you on the show. Sorry for being late, guys.
Oh, we're happy to have you here with us. Thank you for having me.
Here's to less snow and people getting set on fire. Pazuzu.
Yeah.
Tell him, Cubby. What do you think, Bill?
I like it. It doesn't taste like I thought it would.
What were you expecting?
I don't know. I guess I was. Oh, well, I guess it's kicking in now. The fireball's kicking in. There's a burn to this drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was expecting like what would happen if you liquefied Red Hots.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing about this is with the vanilla, it mixes together pretty nice once it's in the ice for a bit, so it's not as hot as you would think. So it kind of gets like a candy apple-y kind of taste. It just gets like a fullness from the Red Hot. Umami is the Japanese.
The technical term.
Yeah, the sixth taste. That's all the fancy words I'll be using this week. I'll be back to mispronouncing stuff in no time.
Yeah, but if it's an accent thing, then is it a mispronunciation or is it just an accent?
It's a Yinzer accent.
Yeah, but still.
It's a half Yinzer, half Youngstown accent. I'm dead center in between them.
Lord knows I can't make fun of anybody's accent.
I never hear your accent until I hear you say
the word. Are you
the
serious? Walking dogs and drinking coffee.
Well, now you're doing it on purpose. But
no, those 4 words will always get me.
The only time I hear your accent come out is when you say the word horror.
Yes, horror. Also whores.
Horse too.
Horse.
Horror whores.
Yes, horror whores. Horrors with whores.
I have a tendency to do a really bad New York accent for Becca. Like anytime there's like a mafioso in a movie, I just start screaming like Andrew Dice Clay. That's one of my.
You just start.
Yeah.
Hello from the rocks.
Hey, that's Andrew. That's my brother-in-law.
Oh, right on.
Hi, Andrew.
That's his brother. So hello, Andrew. Welcome to the show.
When I saw the rocks, I knew he was a local.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what rocks? Which rocks? There's lots of rocks.
The Keys rocks.
With my dumb These rocks.
Did you know we had a bus fall into a bridge crash this week?
That was over your way, wasn't it?
Yeah. The day Joe Biden got to town to discuss
infrastructure.
Yeah. And then he was like, "We're going to bring you more police." I'm like, "No, we need a bridge. We don't need it."
Yeah. Can you maybe get a bridge? That one over there. It's not bridging. Thanks.
Yeah.
He went to it too. There was a photo op that happened.
Were you excited when John Fetterman just had shorts on, Bill?
Yeah. That was very exciting.
I see. He seems maybe kind of wheelhousey. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. The jury's still out on that one.
I think maybe like 20 years and another 60 pounds, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. That never hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was pretty shocking. For those of you, maybe you may not have seen the story in the news, but Sam and I are from Pittsburgh. Gigi's not from Pittsburgh, but a bridge collapsed here, and it was really scary. And fortunately, there were only a couple of vehicles on it, but one of them was a bus, and there were people on the bus.
Long-lived sinkhole bus.
Yeah, last year 2 years ago, we had a sinkhole swallow a bus.
Yeah,
and all anybody talked about for 6 months. So now the buses made another valiant sacrifice and said, "We'll take another one for the team, Pittsburgh." Now that football's over for the next 10 years, because we won't have a team. It's time.
That's the kind of tradition I can get behind, Flipper.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, did you see that thing online? I wish I had saved it. It was the, they do those memes like where it's like pick your birthday and your day and all that. It was like, what's your horror host name based on your birth date and day? Mine was the Lord of Dark Shadows, which seems pretty nice. That seems a little too plain, but
I mean, it's a little on the nose, but it's not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, okay. Mine was Fatty Chubby Chub of the Shadows. That was my name, of the Drinky Shadows.
Mine was, I'm not going to tell you my birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah, mine was, this is how I get the answer to your security questions.
exactly. That's how
Even
you
though-
do it.
Even though my
Cubby's
birthday,
Slayer of Doom was Cubby's horror movie name, which is pretty awesome.
all of our birthdays, well, you can choose not to put your birthday in Facebook, but mine is in there, so anyone would know my birthday anyway.
Yeah.
Anyone who was paying attention last year would know my approximate birthday.
We know your birthday now, Gigi.
I don't know what we can do with it. But,
Yeah.
you know,
We're not going to sell your information. No, don't worry.
we know your
It's
sign.
not worth anything. I'd have to have money for that.
Well,
To be
people-
fair, Justin, nobody in Pittsburgh cares about baseball. This is the most football time. Nobody cares about football and hockey, really. Yeah, we've learned. We've given up since 1979. We've given up on a baseball team, but we're not. That's okay. But yes, I do not have any idea how to pronounce. I think of it the same as mnemonic, and that's why I say memes, because it's like how it raises something in your brain. And I realize that the Latin term is meme. I'm a power singer. I make each song my own and each word my own. You know?
I can respect that. I love your little number about giallos.
Werewolves.
Wolves are the worst. Wolf is the worst. Sometimes I could just ask me to say certain words to make her laugh. She'll say, "Can you
Like what?
tell me what somebody turns into when the moon comes up?" And I'll say, "Werewolf." And she'll say, "Yeah, that's what they're called." What are some other things that I say wrong, baby?
You just have more faces.
Oh, yeah, it's mostly the faces. I didn't realize how many faces I make because I kind of work towards a studio audience that isn't there. So when I say something to her, I always go, "Boy, it's really warm out, huh?" And I like make a little face at the end of it. See
Like
that?
Zoolander.
Yeah, like Zoolander faces. I never realized until I got married. And she says I make them all the time.
So you've just, been breaking the fourth wall all this time. So if your life is the Truman Show, at least you're entertaining your audience.
Yeah. Or annoying angels or whatever else is out there. Or
Yeah.
who's ever
Really bored alien joyriders.
Yeah, whoever's been out there watching. Yeah. So, you know what's funny? I was writing about the movie The Stone Killer this week, the Michael Winner, Charles Bronson movie, and I was like, I don't know if I should put a trigger warning in this review or just say it's a Michael Winner movie because that really kind of covers it. And I feel like the same way for this next movie. It's not a Michael Winner movie, but I really shouldn't have to warn you about this. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's pretty rough.
Yeah, please know that this is legitimately pretty grim. The violence isn't like the campy, goofy, like point and laugh at it kind. So if these things bother you, and it is like a pretty misogynistic movie, if these things bother you, consider yourself warned. This will not, be maybe as lighthearted a time as a lot of our other films are. So fair warning, buyer beware.
It doesn't seem like the first one was lighthearted either.
I mean, it was a TV movie, so it didn't get that grimy. Like, yeah, it was pretty grim, but it didn't get too explicit or anything.
It was a cold one.
This was the cold one. That was the cold one. This is the hot one. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I don't remember enough. I don't remember last week much, less 8th grade, right?
If any of you out there got your Don't Go in the House Blu-rays, I hope you're watching that with us tonight.
Were people starting to get those?
Yeah, I noticed a couple people in my Facebook feed were saying that they got it. So I know Roger got it. Roger Braden.
Oh,
he
awesome.
claims that he was
I
watching.
saw him earlier.
What's that?
I thought I saw him earlier.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen him. So I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't blame him if he watched it out of the package. He claimed he was going to save it for tonight, though. So Roger, I hope you're out there watching with us.
Also, let us know how the transfer is.
It's got to be beautiful.
Super beautiful.
This did sort of. The first time I saw this was on home video.
Oh, really?
And if I remember correctly, I think I did. I had to have. I don't think they. I'm pretty sure they didn't show it on HBO.
I don't remember seeing it in the HBO guide or anything.
I don't remember how I first saw Don't Go in the House. But I remember being really shocked by it, legitimately shocked by the violence in it, because, like you said, Gigi, it's not cutesy at all.
No.
And it's not gimmicky either. It's like not, a stunt like Savini cutting off the kid's fingers and the burning. By the way, that's the title that this film had originally. This movie was known as The Burning in pre-production. I don't think it ever was released under that title because of, who's movie. But it doesn't have any of that cutesy stuff like with fingers popping off and blood squirting out. This is very cruel violence.
I think I can say this without spoiling too much, but as far as like misogyny masterpiece theater, of which there was a lot going on right about this time, the comparison that everybody makes with this film is usually Maniac, and there is a reason for that, but I think your better analog would probably be Don't Answer the Phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In terms of both tone and being driven by like a really strong lead performance from a character actor, they had similar... in this case, there's a speech about I treat you all so nicely and you don't appreciate me. And it's right up there with Nicholas Worth pounding his chest and shrieking about how he measures up to his dad. Very similar in tone, very similar in feel. They also tend to run on the same like breaking in traffic energy. If something incredibly brutal happens, followed by 15 minutes of absolutely fuck all. So if you've ever seen that, that's more of the experience that you're in for. It's not necessarily as energetic as Maniac, and it's not as psychological as, obviously it rips quite a few beats from Psycho because that was very fashionable at that point too.
Yeah, I think that the difference too is that Maniac is, if you take Joe Spinell out of Maniac, it's not a good movie. You know what I mean? Like to me, it's like his diatribes in that movie make the movie for me. So
well, it's so iconic now. It's hard to picture anybody else in that role.
Yeah. But the effects are also great in that too. That has a lot of, as you said, but not silly, but it's got some of the very Savini-ish heads getting blown off with shotguns. Shot with no permits in the middle of the night.
Dan Grimaldi is the lead in this film. This was his first theatrical film. Of course, he was Patsy on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Wasn't that his name on there?
I think so, yeah.
I never watched that show.
Shh. Neither have I.
Sorry, I'm part of the Italian Anti-Defamation League, so I don't watch any shows about organized crime.
I am also Italian, so therefore, why would I want to spend more time watching Italians on TV?
Yeah.
Been there, done that, huh?
Thanks.
Yeah. Have you ever sat with one of your uncles outside of
with the cigar smoke all over your clothes while they complain?
And not left till they pay you money for your services? I don't want to watch this in a TV show. I've lived it, Anyways. The rest of my family all loves it. It's one of those shows too that like people are like, I'm sitting down just for Alden, by the way. I wasn't going to sit down nicely or meanly, but I'm going to sit down. Anytime someone says you got to watch this, chances are I will never watch it.
Anytime someone says you've got to watch this, chances are I actually really don't.
No. Yeah. Also, don't watch that new Sex in the City. I doubt anybody here is going to watch it, but don't make the mistakes that I've made.
Never seen an episode.
I hate watching it and like watching it and cheering when things happen because it's so bad. Like I want to hate it even more. So that's a whole other show. That's on Thursday nights. I do a show by myself, crying in a basement after I watch that show.
Just crying into the reflection on your monitor, wondering how your life has come to this. And that all of your years of preparing to take bumps and pain and suffering are nothing in the face of having to watch this again.
Yes, exactly. I'd rather take skewers in the head than watch that show. But what you say, man?
It's hard for me to commit to a TV show. I haven't seen a whole lot of stuff like The Sopranos and Sex in the City. I don't know. Maybe this is just me being weird, but I'd rather like you watch a movie. It's a movie. It's done. Yeah.
The show is so much like every week, and you got to go back, and sometimes it's 2 hours. Like, no, that seems like a whole lot. It's a bad relationship.
It's a commitment. I used to watch The Walking Dead. Like, I got really into it on the first couple of seasons because I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting. But then eventually I started to pick up on it. I'm like, they're dragging this out way too long. And it's never going to get any different. It's always just going to be people being really mean to each other. And I just got tired of watching it. I was like, there was the one episode where one character beats two of the others to death with a baseball bat. And I'm like, this is bumming me out. Like, I don't want to watch this stuff
It's a
anymore.
and the show is less grim than the source material. There is stuff that happens in the source material that you could not do on TV.
Yeah, the baseball bat scene Bill brings up is way grimmer in the comic than
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know, because why not? Why not make it completely over the top?
Oh, the comic was Also, it ripped off a lot of stuff of other Italian movies all the time. The one character, Princess, looks exactly like a character from one Italian post-apocalyptic movie. So, yeah. But yeah, I can't deal with I don't watch that many series. I don't know.
We watch crime shows.
Yeah, all we watch in this house is crime shows. It's like as I go to sleep, I hear like the luminol found the blood from the body, and the child was found duct taped and dumped in a creek. There's another Pittsburghism creek.
The crick, yeah.
Crick.
Boy, now everyone knows.
I've also heard people from other parts of Pennsylvania say crick, to be fair.
Yeah. They washed that kid down in the creek.
Right up.
They redded him up and they found him. He was all covered in
They took the gun and threw it in the sore.
the sore.
The what?
The sore.
All them cops being nebby and coming around there. Don't they know? Coffins don't tell horns about their business. There's a whole bunch of yinzerism there. Nebby means, to people not from Pittsburgh, nebby means to get into somebody else's business. Don't be nebby.
Wash lady.
And
Yes.
and then horns and coffins were the two department stores downstairs. So why would they tell one another? That means don't talk. That's another one. Yeah. And Slippy is my favorite because Slippy makes way more sense than slippery. Like if a surface is slippy, you don't want to go there. It makes so much more sense.
If it's slippy, it might be greasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Greasy.
There's so many crime shows though in this house that I really think that people are being murdered at an almost nonstop basis. Like it's not enough. Becca said it's our greatest export. Is murders. Yeah. But that's really all that's on. And I fall asleep to it. I wake up to it. Then a bridge crashes. And so this movie probably won't seem that terrifying to me. Yeah,
well, as the sole woman here,
upside down.
I'm probably, it's always going to be an interesting time. No, I've seen this before. I'm fine, but nonetheless.
I actually thought you picked this one, so that's where.
Oh, we were discussing this. This has 2 out of the 3 requirements to possibly be something I've picked. It's extremely depressing.
Yeah.
It is like the tri-state area because I believe this was shot in like commuter New Jersey, but no sluts. Yeah. So that's how you know it isn't me. There's no sluts.
There wasn't 2 versions of it?
Nope, there wasn't 2 versions of it. There was not like an X cut and an R cut. There was no whoring. There's no polyamory. There's no people being unethical in their various slutdoms. So that's the only reason it wasn't mine.
There isn't a girl that works in a toy store that gets...
Yeah, that is really, really unhealthily attached to those toys. Like, don't even ask about her Tickle Me Elmo. You won't like the answer.
Yeah. And
oh God.
Yeah.
What a depressing, awful downer experience.
That movie hits all 3 of your.
Yes, that movie and it has great fashion in it because I'm always all up in everybody's clothes talking about costume designers. It especially after she gets that little clue haircut. Yes, please, all of that.
She has like a little negligee thing in that movie too, doesn't she?
There's several that are really cute.
I don't understand the 70s kind of, because I've been watching a lot of 70s movies that like 70s just kind of like weird slippy flower girl kind of things. I've been watching too many Barbra Streisand movies where she's a prostitute, so that may be why.
Well, I mean, if you're a prostitute, you're looking for easy on, easy off. So it's going to be like flowy, like slippery, just kind of slide it, move a strap, it's done. To know if I picked it, is it Halloween too? No, then I didn't pick it.
Exactly. Becca picked Dolls last week though, so I mean, there's that.
Yeah, wait, doesn't she love dolls?
She does.
Yeah,
Is this the third segment already? No, but that's going to be a shit show you can't wait to see.
It's going to be the fourth segment this week.
She said there's a tiered system to the movies that she picks. There's very scientific picks that happen to what she.
I think I picked this. I must have chosen this because so many people had been requesting it. So
if
I
it
knew
was a
people.
straight up Becca week, we'd be watching Mannequin 2, Mannequin on the Move, and what would be a second Becca movie? Fright Night.
Splash 2.
Night 2.
Fright Night 2. It's always twos. Fright Night 2 and Mannequin 2, Mannequin on the Move.
I like Fright Night 2.
Becca is more kindly to sequels
Yeah.
than probably most people are.
Yeah. I actually really like Fright Night 2 and not out on Blu-ray, amazingly. Even though there's a high-def version of it for cable, it's still not out. That's rights issues. Did I ever tell you the story about Fright Night 3 that never happened?
No, what's that?
That the director and the guy who plays Peter Vincent in it, they both met with the head of Family Home Entertainment about making the third one as a direct-to-video sequel. And he was so rude at them at lunch that they actually cut the lunch short. And then that guy was shot that night by his kids because it was the Menendez brothers' dad. So the next morning he called up. They called each other and they were like, "Hey, did you do this?" And they're like, "No, I didn't do this," because that's how. So yeah. So that kind of robbed us of that movie. I like Return of the Living Dead, Dan. I love it, and I also like the Return of the Living Dead. I think it's 3, where the girl keeps herself alive by from being a zombie by putting all the piercings in herself because she doesn't want to eat her boyfriend. That one's super dark, and the rest of them are horrible. So, and the second one's the first one, but nowhere near as good.
2 is pretty bad. Return of the Living Dead 2 is pretty bad, even though it's the director of Shockwaves, Ken Wiederhorn. I would love to say it was fantastic, but I don't know. There's a couple of moments. There's the one where the woman's disembodied head says, "Get that damn screwdriver out of my head." That was inspired.
Yeah.
What was that little Vogue for a minute where like just reanimate the heads? It even pops up in Microwave Massacre where all of a sudden like all these disembodied heads just start getting sassy.
Zombie 3, the head flies out of the refrigerator.
I think it was Reanimator that did it. They're like, you know what, that head works so well in Reanimator.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and that was the trope codifier.
Yeah, and Microwave Massacre is my least favorite movie of all time, I think.
I really do not like that movie. And people keep being like, no, it's fun, it's trashy. I'm like, it's boring as shit and it doesn't make any sense.
It's got a great cover. Like the box, the VHS box is awesome, and it got me numerous times where I'm like, maybe I wasn't in the right mood. No.
Like any movie that can make me angry about seeing copious amounts of cleavage, you fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah. The last two Return of the Living Deads that were, of course, as all 90s and 2000 sequels must be shot in on the other side of the red curtain in like Bulgaria at the same time as the Pumpkinhead sequels. There's one about Rave to the Grave. It's about that they pull fluid out of zombies' brains and put it into marijuana to turn people smoking it into zombies. Sounds like a good idea. Oh, no.
Oh, Toxic Zombies did that a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly. But this is just really bad. Scott, I'm not judging anybody for liking Microwave Massacre. God,
yeah, we still love you if you like Microwave Massacre. Just don't invite me to watch it with you because the answer is no.
I kind of like Microwave Massacre too. I was being quiet.
I don't like it. It hit me really wrong. It hit me so wrong that I stopped watching movies that day, which is
well, it doesn't, you know, I don't love it so much it hurts or anything.
Yeah. So Justin said someone was selling the rights to Return of the Living Dead 4 and 5 on eBay. I'd like to do that and then E.T. style dump them into a E.T. the video game style dump them into a big grave so that no one ever has to see those movies again. Anything that's sci-fi touched.
No. We got to put like a slip cover on it and like it's a lost classic, and then we'll all have a nice, nice vacation.
We have to put a big, huge thing about it where there's like you get a book and you get a sticker.
Make up some word salad about how Hitchcockian it all is and how it's got like Lynchian surrealism. Like, no, we know how to do this. It'll be grand.
You think? I keep wondering when they're going to run out of movies to get into like that.
How you mean? When are they going to run out of things to reboot?
Yeah, no, to reissue on Blu-ray and tell me how great they are. Sometimes it works. God knows I get excited about stuff and it's horrible. So
I'd like to see every movie rescued from obscurity, even the bad ones.
I made everybody watch Night Killer, so you know, what do I know?
Should we get to the movie?
Yeah, well, I should.
Well, it's almost 11:30, so we should probably start Don't Go in the House.
We should. Hey, I saw a lot of people got their movies, so congratulations. Enjoy the movies.
Yeah, I just mailed the last one out. John Ortiz, who won the Children a couple of weeks ago. Everybody got their movie first except for him because I didn't have his address. And it popped up on my phone while I was standing in line at the post office. So I was like, sorry, John Ortiz, you missed out on this one. But I finally got
the ones that I sent to Canada literally took an hour to send because the guy had never sent anything to Canada. So they said, well, this would be a good training opportunity. And I was like,
oh, and then it became a hassle.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, no. And then I just stood there. And I didn't bring my phone, so I had nothing to do. So I just stared out a window and watched people slip around on ice, which was a nice day. So thank you to the people that I sent it to.
All right. So the link to watch Don't Go in the House is on the Groovy Doom Facebook page. You can watch it on YouTube, commercial free. Or you can watch it on Tubi. Up to you. Or watch the brand new Blu-ray if you were lucky enough to get it. Anyway, come back after the movie. We'll have some great stuff for you on the third segment on the Drive-In Asylum double feature.